About Golden Harvest v3 Soundfonts because there are a few relevant things to talk about within this lovely folder. So you're going to go here and you're going to see all of your sound fonts. So first of all, you're going to have this active.txt file. Leave this alone. Don't change anything. It's not important. It just basically has information that's relevant for the board to read. I don't completely understand it, to be honest with you, but I don't remove it from the folder because if you do, it won't work. So leave it in there. Then you have your common folder. Basically, my common folder is empty. I'll explain why in a second. But what you drop in here are tracks, or mainly tracks. You can also put in Prion and post-off effects. And they are common, which means that they're applicable to all the sound fonts in your folder. As you can see, I have a stupid amount of sound fonts on my Saber because my SD card is huge. But essentially, you can put as many tracks in this common folder and you can play them from any sound font you want. I don't do that because I like to have specific sound fonts with specific tracks. That's just what I like to do. My computer's going crazy if you can hear the fan, but that's fine. We're gonna keep going. We'll trek through. Right, this is how you name your sound fonts. Sound, the number of it, sound 1, space, minus, space, name. Do not put any numbers, underscores, or symbols in the name of your sound font after this minus, because the board will not be able to recognize it as a name. It will think that it is still a part of the numbering system. So it has to be named with just letters and spaces. No underscores, no numbers. Well, the OB4 works. I lied. You can use numbers, but no individual numbers, no underscores, none of that jazz. So once you've named your sound font correctly, I'm actually going to go to one that has a Prion effect because those are relevant. We'll go to one of the old knights because they all have Prion effects. So I don't know what is one that everyone likes. I think whatever, it doesn't really matter. We'll just go on the XL. So what's relevant first of all is that your start drag and your start lockups are going to have to be renamed to BGN drag and BGN lock. In order for them to play. If you don't want them to play, fine, leave them alone, no big deal. But if you want them to play, you're going to have to rename them to BGN instead of start. Next, what is relevant is that the numbering system for your sound font files is very strange, very confusing. You have to number the first begin lock and begin drag. So this is begin drag 1. Begin drag 2, begin drag 3, begin lock 1, 2, 3, right? You number them. However, you do not, for some reason, number the first blaster, then you number the second blaster, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many you have. Don't ask me why, that's just how it works. Number the begin locks, begin drags, don't number the blaster, don't number your first boot, number the boots after that. Again, no idea why, that's just how it is. Your clashes, you're going to have to number the first clash. Again, don't understand why, but you have to number the first one, number the ones after it. Then moving on to your after clashes comes your color. Yeah, it's a relevant one. Drag, there's only one. You don't need to end drags. Number the first one, number the ones after. Same thing for the locks. Again, don't know why. You don't need to number your font because there's only going to be one. You only have one option for font sound. Sadly, it doesn't play any other ones at random. Your force effects, the first one should not be numbered. But the second, third, and fourth, and anything after that should be numbered. There isn't a limited amount of ones you can have, but you just know that you shouldn't number the first one. Again, very confusing. Don't know why. H-wings, L-swings, lockup is just named lockup. What is relevant? What was I going to talk about? The Prion effects, yeah. So your Prions, again, within this really strange numbering system, it has to be numbered. So this one only has one Prion effect. I think that is super loud. So this one only has one Prion effect. So it only has one, but if you have more than one, it's going to have to go Prion 1, Prion 2, Prion 3. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why, but that's how it works. I know that some people, the Prion effects don't play because I think in CFX you don't number the first one. Right. So Golden Harvest v3 sound fonts are all CFX sound fonts. They're compatible. You just have to change the names. That's why I'm talking about this. Forgot to mention that at the beginning, but that is relevant. This little .txt file right here, very, very relevant for the sound fonts because this is essentially your font config file. This is the equivalent to that in the CFX. I leave most everything in this alone. You can change like some of the max volume settings per sound font. If you have a sound font that is prone to blowing out speakers, off the top of my head, I can think of the Sorcerer from Kyberphonic, Grand Hunter from the K-Sith, the Senate from K-Sith, any Rogue Vader from K-Sith, any fonts that have an incredible and like awesome amount of bass, you might want to mess around with these settings so that they don't blow out your speakers, because you can change individual volume parameters for sound fonts. I usually don't, because as you see in my other video, I set my volume relatively low, but you can do that if you want. Here you have the duration of your power on and power off. You can change these on the fly from the Saber, but if you want to change them here to a very specific number, you can. Usually I leave the power off alone, and then I'll change the power on to something. Usually a good range is between 200 and 300. 75 is really the fastest I've ever gone, so the lower the number, the faster the ignition. 75 is what I'll use for like Code Fulcrum or the LS6 fonts, because those are relatively fast ignitions. That's just what that is. This is your blade timing, essentially. Right, and that is the settings.txt file explained and how to rename all the files. Oh, right, what is also relevant is your tracks. You're going to have to take them out of the tracks folder and drop them into the normal sound font folder with the rest of the files in order for the board to be able to play them. That's how Golden Harvest tracks work. I know it works differently for both CFX and Profi, but that's just how it works in the Golden Harvest. And I think that is everything for sound fonts. If you have more questions, just let me know or go onto the drive folder. I might explain them there. If not, I hope that does everything, and I hope this helps.